Hello, my friends. It has been a while. I took a little YouTube vacation there. Not really planned, but it worked out okay because I was lacking some motivation anyway. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about a death in the family while you're out trucking, because that's a real thing. And if you guys know, I had a similar situation myself. If you looked over at my community tab while I was gone, my old dog passed away about a week ago. And if some of you are saying, hey Josh, is this video about a dog? Are you talking about just a dog right now? Hey, I don't want to know you. I'm not your friend. Dogs are good people. So anyways, you'll notice that this video is going to be rolling with just video me driving down the road. In the event that I do get a little emotional talking about this topic, you won't get to see me cry and make fun of me. So how about that? How about that? So yeah, we're here to talk about these tragic things that happen while you're an over-the-road truck driver, and sort of, you know, kind of what I was dealing with the whole thing. And I don't know why I'm here. Sometimes I just get on here and talk, I guess. But before we get into that, a few people to thank for super thanks on the last video. Sorry guys, I took about 11 days off. It ended up coming out to before this video will come out. So Private Pile with $5 on the last video. Thank you, Private Pile. Appreciate you. JD with $5 on the last video. Thank you, JD. And also Freddie with another $5 on that last video. Appreciate you guys so much for your support. Everybody, obviously, with the super thanks, the likes and the comments and the views and everything you guys do to help my little humble channel grow. We are, as of the minute of recording this video, about 56 subscribers away from breaking that 10,000 subscriber milestone. So if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, can you help me get these last 56 subscribers so I can stop bitching about 10,000 subscribers? We've been doing that for far too long, and we're almost there. So I appreciate you guys. So yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about sort of a tragic situation that not only happened to me, but happens to a lot of truck drivers. I don't know if you guys watch Jim C, but Jim C was dealing with a death in his family recently. So my condolences to Jim C and his family. And he was sort of having trouble with Prime getting him home. It kind of turned into a clusterfuck, I guess. And I'm not going to go off on Prime this time. I'm not going to make fun of them. That is the sort of the harsh reality of trucking. Unless you've got the money to just park the truck and fly home real quick, or grab a rental car, or any of those things, you're kind of at a company's mercy and whatever loads they can find to get you home when something is happening. And Jim C was pretty frustrated. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know if you've ever watched a Jim C video, but I would pay a lot of money just to see a video that dude flip the fuck out one time. Just go fucking crazy and let that frustration out, because I believe that would be a very good video. So anyways, like I said, my condolences to Jim C and his family also for what they were going through. And Jim, I don't really keep up with your videos a whole lot, so I hope you made it home, and hope everything worked out for you there, big guy. Hope you worked it out, or got it worked out. So anyways, as you guys know, my old dog passed away on me. We've had her forever. She was a very, very sweet girl. We've had her probably around 10 years, if I were to guess. Somewhere in that range. And hell, she was an old lady when we got her. So I wanted a dog years ago, right? That was, I don't really do the whole birthday celebrations and things like that. I don't really celebrate holidays, anything like that. But my wife was adamant about getting me a birthday present, and I really wanted a dog, right? But I was very... we weren't going to go buy $1,000 dog, you know, or $2,000 dog. Dogs get very expensive when you're buying them from breeders and things like that. So I was like, let's just go to the shelter and find one. And I was working, I think, the night shift then in the oil field. I don't really remember, but I wasn't home very often as it was. So she was going to go to the shelter and pick out a dog for me. But I told her, our kids were very young at the time. So I said, we need like a chill dog, right? Not like, and let me try to say this the right way. I wasn't saying, you know, that pit bulls are bad dogs or anything like that, or that German shepherds are bad dogs, but we needed something that was a little more chill, because kids are unpredictable, right? And I didn't want to have a situation where maybe one of my kids were doing something stupid and got their face ripped off by a pit bull, right? Because I'm not saying the breed is bad. I'm saying that kids can be unpredictable sometimes, and a dog might not know why they're being fucked with at that time and then react negatively. And I didn't want to deal with a situation like that. So I told my wife, get some sort of, I don't know dog breeds very well, but a dog that's more laid back, more reserved, you know, because we don't need any kind of problems like this. And I came home from work. I must have been working the day shift by then. I'm not really sure. But I came home from work, and in the corner of our house was this mangy, just dog that was hiding in the corner, just terrified when I walked in, wouldn't make eye contact with me, anything. Just had surgery. I don't remember what surgery she had. So she had hair shaved off of her and stitches in her and things like that. And she looked like hell. She looked like shit. And she wanted nothing to do with me. This dog was absolutely terrified, and I felt bad for her. So my wife was kind of telling me, you know, her history. She had recently had puppies, apparently, and you know, they believe she came out of an abusive home. She was basically found wandering around in a field all by herself, just beat up, you know, evidence of having to defend herself on a few occasions, and just this beat up dog that had obviously lived a full life at this point before we had got her. And by that time she had found herself in the shelter. And my wife said, you know, she was checking out all the other dogs, and in the corner was this scared, timid dog just sitting by herself. And my wife said, you know what, bring her in the room, we'll meet her. And you know, she like sniffed my wife's hand and stuff, and was receptive to getting pets, but wasn't real playful or anything, and looked very nervous. And my wife said, you know what, we'll take that one home, right? We'll take that one home. So I come home to see this dog that just looks like it came out of battle, like it just left the war, right? All stitched up and shaved and scared for its life and all kinds of things. And I was like, holy shit. I feel bad now, because I'm like, that's the dog you got? Really? That's what you brought home? And her name was Piper, but it was spelled with 2 P's, right? P-I-P-P-E-R, Pipper. And I hated it. I fucking hated her name. I would have hated it if it was Piper. And I said, we got to do something about this name, because I don't like her name at all. And then we let the kids pick out some names, right? And they picked out the names that they wanted for her. And then she was laying on the kitchen floor, so they each laid down a snack with the name they had picked out for the dog written down. And then they all stepped away, and she went over and picked the snack that she wanted. So I guess in a sense she picked her own name, and she had picked the name Luna that our son had picked out for her. And so from that day forward, we had named our poor, scared, timid dog Luna. And she was terrified of me for fucking months. This dog was absolutely horrified. Every time I would walk in the house, she would run into our room, around the bed, over and hide in the corner around my wife's side of the bed. And I would slowly, over time, see, this is why I got I'm running a video of me just driving down the road, because I'm looking kind of like a mess over here right now, my friends. I'm not in good shape. Reminiscing on these stories over months of time, I had, you know, I would try my best not to make her uncomfortable, like wouldn't get too close to her or anything, but like maybe let her know that I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not going to do anything bad to you. And eventually she started to let me pet her, like go over there and pet her. And eventually she would walk over to me after some point and let me pet her, until the point where she would get in, she would be waiting at the door when I would walk in, and with her little tail wagging and just happy to see me. And that is pretty awesome, right? That's pretty cool. But she always had a bad hip, maybe from all the battles she went through before we got her. So I only brought her with me on the truck one time. She had a really horrible time getting in and out of the truck, and she was kind of gaining weight because her bad hip. She wasn't really one for working out, right? So she liked taking her naps, and she liked eating some food, and that's kind of what she liked doing. She liked to go outside, but she didn't really play outside. What she liked to do when she went outside was just look around and sniff the air. That's what she enjoyed doing. She was such a weirdo, right? So I only brought her on the truck with me one time, and it was only because she had so much trouble getting in and out of the truck, and she was getting too heavy for me to lift her in and out of the truck. And it was just too much hassle. So originally, it was probably the plan that she was going to ride with me in the truck. And she was the perfect dog to do it because she was just so laid back, so chill all the time. I heard that dog bark once in all the times that I knew her. I heard her bark one time, and it was in her sleep. I think because she used to have nightmares when we first got her. She was always like, you know, growling and stuff while she was sleeping. And I heard her bark one time. My wife said she heard her bark one other time, and that was because somebody was walking through our yard that she didn't know, and she said the dog was pretty fired up at the window ready to raise hell, which shocked me that she was doing that. But only ever heard her bark the one time, and it was in her sleep while she was fighting off her demons, you know. Poor girl had a rough life before we knew her. She absolutely did. But she just... You know, we did the best we could for her. She wasn't a real playful dog. She liked to get her belly rubbed. She would walk over and flop down on the floor and roll over so you could give her belly rubs. But she wasn't really too much into physical activity. We'd take her outside and try to throw the ball with her. She had no interest at all. She didn't care about all that. She just wanted a warm place to live, you know, with people that loved her and all those things, and food to eat and good, comfortable places to take a nap. Like I said, she was an old lady by the time we got her. Like, not necessarily in years, but she had been through a whole fucking life of really bad things before we got her. And I can only imagine, because she was so afraid of me, she was probably a whipped dog by some jackass piece of shit man that, you know, took his anger out on things like a dog, right? And fucking, you know, I've been thinking about a thing a lot lately. Because I don't know if it was some of the white trash fucks I was raised around. I don't mean to be a dick, but the way that I saw some dogs treated while I was growing up never ever made me realize that dogs were like your best friends, like your buddies, right? I had no idea, because this is the only dog I've had in my adult life also. You know, there were... What am I trying to say? A lot of the people that I grew up around bought dogs for the sole purpose of chaining it up outside and then just yelling at it whenever they got pissed off, and that was the whole dog's existence. I don't know if there was a cultural shift to how we think about dogs, because there was a time where like if you were calling somebody ugly, you would call them a dog, right? That was maybe back in the 80s or something. You would call them a dog. Now when you're referring to someone as a dog, you know, it's different. It's like, I got that dog in me, you know what I mean? And now dogs are really looked up to, and people are like, love their dogs and their company and all that thing. But it didn't register with me until I had this old girl for years, that she was truly a part of the family. She lived in a place where she felt comfortable. She didn't have to spend her life running through fields defending herself anymore with her bad hip. You know, she had little cuts and scars all over her. Nothing anything too crazy, but she'd definitely been in a few fights in her time. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. But, you know, she just got to live this comfortable life of you know, just not worrying that something bad was going to happen to her anymore. And she really changed my focus on a lot of things. Like, I had no idea. Like, I remember we had a dog that died when I was a kid. We had a few dogs that died when I was a kid growing up. It was kind of like, yeah, the dog just died, no big deal, right? But we had this dog when I was very young, maybe kindergarten or something. We lived out on the farm. His name was Grizz. I don't even remember what Grizz looked like, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know what kind of dog he was or anything. That was so many years ago. But I remember coming home one day and my mom told me that Grizz had died. He decided to chase a semi-truck down the dirt road there and got a little too close and slid right under that tire and popped little Grizz all over the road just like that. And that was sad to me. That was very tragic. Mom did her best. She loaded him up in the car to try to take him to the vet after he just got ran over by a semi-truck. Blood all over the back of that car. She meant well. She was trying to do her best, and that was devastating to me. Absolutely broke my fucking heart. I cried about Grizz for weeks. And I hardly think about him anymore these days. And to me, that's tragic because I'm only maybe halfway through my natural life. And this sweet, kind of overweight, maybe a little bit dumb border collie, because she was a border collie, and border collies are really smart dogs, and she was a little bit on the slower end, I would say, my poor Luna. But she was a sweetheart. She was a sweet girl that loved her family and just was so comfortable living with us. So what had happened, remember I said that she always had that bad hip, right? Must have been from one of the fights she got into. I'm not really sure. But over time, her hip started to give her more and more trouble, right? She was a little slower at getting up off the floor and walking and things like that. And I'd never seen her jump where she could get both legs off the ground, right? I mean, her back legs off the ground. She was never able to do that. Like if she wanted a bite of my steak when I was at home, because I always make us a nice fat steak or something like that, she would bounce around, her little cute front feet bouncing off the ground, but she could never get those back ones off the ground ever. And that she was starting to have more and more trouble getting up the stairs when she would go outside to use the bathroom and all those things. And last time I was home, I noticed that she was really slow to get up, and to the point that she was like hesitating to get up. She didn't want to, and she was spending a lot more time just laying in one spot and all that. And you know, the dog Luna was probably, if I were to guess, somewhere around 15 years old at this point. 12 to 15 year range, somewhere in there. And we started having the conversation when I was home. Now, my wife had told me, you know, her health has been getting worse over time, but it's nothing that's ever really been this noticeable. She's just been slowing down. She's an old lady, right? We all slow down as we get older. And we started talking about, like, what do we need to start looking at? What do we need to do? Which is a terrible conversation to have about your dog that's been a part of your family for so long. And, yes, this video is about a dog, in case anybody's still wondering about that. Like, I had never realized what incredibly awesome family members before this point in my life having a dog is. And I have no interest in replacing her, by the way. I'm not looking for a new dog. Now, at some point, maybe I'll feel different about that. But as right now, my house where she lived is her home. And I don't want no other dog coming in and thinking he can take over her spot. And maybe that feeling will pass over time. I'm not really sure. But anyways, we started sort of having that conversation. And then it was only a few days after I left the house, my wife was telling me this is going downhill really fast. She will not get up. She's not eating. She's going to the bathroom right where she's laying. She can't get up. And I was like, holy fucking shit. My God, I didn't expect this to happen that fast, right? So we don't know what to do. We've never been in this situation, and we're still in this process, like trying to process what's happening, what's going on. And I'm kind of like, I'm telling my wife, look, call some people. So she's calling vets and everything, and they're saying, yeah, you know, at this point, it is probably time to put her down, unfortunately. And I don't know if I handled this the right way, my friends. I'm not claiming to know what I was supposed to do. I told my wife I would like to see her again, you know, before she's gone. And we were trying for me to get home before she passed away. And I didn't make it. And here's some things I did wrong. I was home, you know, when we started to notice it was really going bad. And I could have just stayed home at that point. I mean, what's the point of being a lease operator if you can't just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to stay home for a couple days for things like that. But I didn't. And I left. And normally, you know, from Colorado, I go out to the Midwest. From there, I'll go to Dallas, and then there I'll go back home. I was talking to my wife on the phone. I said, look, I'll stop the truck. I'll send them a message, my dispatcher, asking me if they can, asking them if they can get me a load from the Midwest back to Colorado so I can come home and be with you guys while this is happening. And then by the time I got around to getting the truck parked and sending a message, I could have called them. I get that. But by the time I did that, they had already dispatched me for a load to Fort Worth. And I was like, oh, fuck. Here's where I fucked up, my friends. I was so consumed with the idea that if I call my trucking company and tell them that my dog's dying, that they were just going to laugh at me and say, get to work, stupid. No one cares about that. And that thought had consumed my brain to the point that I said, okay, I'm going to run the load to Dallas. And then from Dallas, I'll run the load home, and then I'll see her before she passes, unfortunately. And I didn't make it. I didn't fucking make it in time. So I probably played that entire thing wrong. I probably could have done all of that better, of course. But my wife was there when it happened. And while it was happening, she said the dog had a seizure, unfortunately. And that was kind of just it. But she noticed that it was happening. It was late at night, and she was laying on the floor with Luna, hugging her, and you know, telling her she loves her and she's gonna be okay and all those things. And she just didn't fucking make it. And that is, guys, you guys probably do have some idea, but I just felt fucking gutted. Just like, this is like, I know I haven't been home a lot, but this is my buddy. She was waiting for me every time I walked in the door. She was happy to see me. She was a part of the fucking family, and for her to just be gone now doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I'm having trouble still processing that this sweet girl that's been here forever just isn't around anymore, you know. And you guys know that I'm not really a religious man. I don't really know that I buy into all the heaven and hell stuff, and you're allowed to if you want, right? But seeing how, like, most people, a lot of people, I'm not trying to be a huge dick, but a lot of people are kind of shitheads, right? And a lot of people don't even deserve this concept of heaven that they speak so much about, right? But dogs fucking deserve it. Every dog out there deserves it. Dogs deserve a heaven, even if I'm not religious at all, because dogs are the best fucking thing that ever happened to us, my friends. They absolutely are. So I hope wherever she is, she's happy and she feels safe, and she knows that we all obviously loved her very much. And boy, it's got me questioning everything in my life right now, if I'm being honest with you, my friends. Last week, I was about to burn it all to the fucking ground. You guys know me, how I get real emotional and then I make decisions. Yeah, well, I'm caught in those emotions. I was about ready to just torch it all. Turn in the lease truck, go home, shut down the YouTube channel, get me a local truck driving job, and just fucking go right off into the sunset. And then I realized from years of me making completely irrational decisions when I was emotional, that's never really worked out well for me. So I decided not to. So anyways, hey, you know, if some of y'all think it's silly that I'm upset that a dog died, a little personal reflection for you is what I would suggest. But it was a life-changing eye-opener for me. I never really processed the idea that dogs were family members, that like they were just, you know, they were just a part of the family, and your life does change when they leave, and it's terrible, and you can only hope for the best for them. That, like, my biggest thing, like with how scared and timid she was of the world, I hope that, like, she's not just running around through like a dark forest with her head down, like being scared out of her mind or something like that. I hope that's not what her afterlife is. I hope she's happy and she's not scared of anything, and she understands that we wish she was still here. With that said, I guess I better be going so I can get this video uploaded. I love you guys. Bye now.